Ancient humans didn't die at 30 because they were old. They died because something tried to eat them or infect them or starve them. But here's the weird part: the same biological system that killed them is still inside you right now, running 24/7. And in the modern world, it's not saving you. It might actually be what kills you. Let's back up about 30,000 years. Life as a hunter gatherer was basically a constant obstacle course of things trying to kill you. A bad cut could become a death sentence within days. A failed hunt meant your whole group went to bed hungry. And not in a skipping dinner kind of way. And every single night, predators were patrolling just beyond the firelight. So your body evolved one of the most powerful weapons ever created to deal with all of this: inflammation. Now, before you zone out, this isn't just about swollen ankles. Inflammation is your immune system going full on emergency mode. You get a cut, your body floods the area with immune cells, heat, and swelling. It's painful, yeah, but it works. It kills invading bacteria, seals the damage, and starts rebuilding tissue. For ancient humans, this wasn't just useful. It was the difference between life and death. Ancient skeletons show people who recovered from serious injuries with no medicine at all. Their inflammatory response was doing the heavy lifting completely on its own. So inflammation is the hero, right? Well, kind of. Here's the thing: inflammation was designed for short bursts, quick, explosive, then off. Think of it like a fire extinguisher, incredibly useful when you need it, terrible if it's just spraying constantly. In the ancient world, your inflammation had clear triggers: a wound, an infection, a sprint from a predator. It fired up, did its job, and shut off. That was the system. But in the modern world, that system barely ever turns off. And that's where things get interesting, because you're probably triggering it right now without even knowing. Let's start with food. Ultra-processed food, the stuff that's in most grocery aisles, promotes systemic inflammation. Studies show it disrupts your gut microbiome, which then triggers your immune system to stay on guard. Your body essentially treats a bag of chips like a mild threat, which, fair enough, honestly. Then there's sitting, specifically sitting for hours without moving. Skeletal muscle, when it's active, actually releases anti-inflammatory signals throughout your body. When you sit all day, that natural brake on inflammation essentially disappears. And then there's sleep, or, if you're like a lot of people, the lack of it. A UCLA study found that even one night of partial sleep deprivation activated a key inflammatory signaling pathway in the body. For people who chronically undersleep, which is a huge chunk of the working world, that activation is basically constant. And finally, stress. Chronic, low-grade, never quite goes away stress. Cortisol. The stress hormone is useful in short bursts. Ancient humans needed it to outrun predators, but when cortisol stays elevated for weeks, months, years, it starts driving inflammation instead of fighting it. Your body thinks you're still being chased by something, except the thing chasing you is your inbox. Now here's the stat that should stop you cold. According to Stat Pearls, published on the NIH's own database, 3 out of every 5 people on Earth die from chronic inflammatory diseases. We're talking heart disease, cancer, stroke, type 2 diabetes, chronic respiratory disease. The WHO calls chronic inflammatory disease the greatest threat to human health today. Not a pathogen, not a predator, not a food shortage. A process happening silently inside your own body. And the wild thing is, ancient humans barely dealt with this version of inflammation. For them, inflammation was a sprint. It came, it fought, it left. For modern humans, it's more like a slow drip that never quite stops. Ancient humans were physically active basically every single hour of the day. They slept when it got dark. They woke when it got light. Their circadian rhythm was basically perfect. Their food had no ingredient lists, mostly because it was just food: meat, plants, roots, fruit. And their stress was intense but short. Run from lion. Either survive or don't. Stress over. Modern stress has no finish line. The threat never fully resolves. The cortisol just keeps showing up. So here's the irony that should really hit you. The system that kept ancient humans alive, in the exact world it was built for, is now slowly working against us. We removed the threats it was designed to fight. and it just kept firing anyway. Because evolution doesn't update quickly, our inflammatory system still thinks we're living 30,000 years ago. It's running ancient software in a completely different world. And that mismatch is quietly killing people. Now, here's the part that actually matters. Chronic inflammation isn't a life sentence, it's largely driven by lifestyle, which means it responds to lifestyle changes. Movement is probably the single most powerful tool. Even 150 minutes of moderate activity per week, the WHO's own guideline, helps muscles release anti inflammatory signals. You don't need to become a marathon runner. A long walk genuinely changes your biology. Sleep is the other one. Your body does its deepest immune repair work while you're unconscious. Cutting that short doesn't just make you tired, it leaves inflammation unresolved every single night. And food. You don't have to go full caveman. Nobody wants to eat roots and raw deer. But research consistently shows Mediterranean style eating, whole foods, fish, olive oil, vegetables, measurably reduces inflammation markers in your blood. Harvard Medical School literally published a special report on this. The evidence is not subtle, and stress. Look, nobody is eliminating stress entirely, but chronic, unmanaged stress is genuinely biological damage. Even short breathing exercises reduce cortisol levels. That's not wellness guru talk. That's just physiology. Ancient humans didn't get to choose their threats. A lion showed up. That was just Tuesday. But we do get to choose a lot of ours. The food we eat, when we sleep, how much we move. The fact that 3 in 5 people on Earth die from chronic inflammation isn't a fixed outcome. It's what happens when a body built for one world has to survive in a completely different one, without anyone adjusting the settings. The ancient threat was a predator, fast, visible, obviously dangerous. The modern threat is quieter, no claws, no roar, just your own immune system slightly confused, stuck in the on position. And tonight, while you sleep, or while you scroll instead of sleeping, that process is either repairing you or slowly not.